Hi, welcome to this week's Kuel Conversations. My name is Jacqueline Perez, and I am your host, and I am here with Janelle Anderson. Welcome, Janelle. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
I am so glad to welcome you. Janelle is a certified coach, and I will let her introduce herself. But just in case you haven't caught one of these Kuel Conversations before, my name is Jacqueline Perez, or Jack Perez, and I am the CEO and founder of Kuel Life. Kuel Life is a platform to further redefine midlife for women by providing meaningful, curated content and women-driven brands. What's great about the Kuel Life platform, ladies, is that all of the articles, all of the blog posts are written with us in mind, women 45 and above. So if you haven't had a chance to go out to Kuel Life, and that is KUELLIFE, please do, and check out the many, many articles out there that are very instructional. They're full of advice, inspiration, and then drop me a line and tell me what you think of it. But for now, we're going to do a deep dive with Janelle, and I'm going to let Janelle introduce herself first, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty of the topic for today. Is that okay, Janelle?
Yeah, sounds great. Yeah, so I'm Janelle Anderson. I'm actually 66, and I have my own company called Emerging Life Coaching. I coach women, usually 45 and above, who are looking to create their best life and figure out, who am I now? It's that time in your life where you start to wonder, who am I really? And so I help them figure that out. I love to do that kind of work. And I started my business when I was 61. So I feel like I can be a great inspiration to women that are in that older season and want to start something new and wonder, hey, am I too old? And I can say, no, you're not, because I did it. So you can do it too.
Well, what's interesting, Janelle, is that the largest percentage of women entrepreneurs that are becoming women entrepreneurs, I've just misspoke. The largest percentage of entrepreneurs, new entrepreneurs, are women over 50.
Yes.
And that is actually why I started the Kuel Shop as well, and focusing on women-driven brands, because I kept coming across all these amazing women who were redefining themselves and launching new careers and becoming entrepreneurs. So I'm with you. So what are we going to talk about today, Janelle?
So what I'd love to talk about is how to help women, or how can women going through that period of time where you start to, what I call, waking up to your life. Usually late 40s, 50s, it kind of happens, like, who am I? And then how to navigate through that, how to figure out who you are and what you really want to do. What is your passion? Because a lot of times women aren't sure. They haven't taken the time to dial into that. They've been so busy focusing on their kids and their families and their jobs. And they, as women do, we sort of put ourselves on the back burner, our passions on the shelf, and we forget about them. And then we don't know, we're not connected to that inner self anymore. So maybe just how to get back connected to you and how to take those first steps towards maybe following a passion you have.
Yeah. And for some of us, though, I mean, I know a lot of women who, never had the chance to connect to themselves to even begin with, because they went from being someone's daughter to somebody's wife, to someone's mother, to someone's employee, to someone's caretaker as their parents age. And it's always been, they've always looked at themselves as relative to some other role, to someone else, rather than as an individual. So what are some of I know you have a lot of clients that you help through this process, and we're thrilled to have you, in our Kuel Conversation today, to help the women of the Kuel Life community help themselves a little bit, at least get a kickstart on this process. So what are some of the things that you suggest to your clients in this process?
Yeah, I'd say first, and this is a big thing that for me was a big thing for me, was say yes to yourself. I think what you said was so right on. We're so used to deferring to other people and seeing ourselves and how we relate to them, or what can we do with them, or what are we doing for them. But say yes to you. Like, you are valuable and you're worth investing in, and you're worthwhile to do that deep dive and that exploration into who are you and what do you want to do. It's not selfish. I find that women often take on this, I don't know, limiting belief that somehow it's selfish to focus on me. If I spend time and money and energy doing what I want to do, that somehow I'm taking away from other people, right? This is
Right.
common.
Well, and it's funny because that's a platform of scarcity versus a platform of abundance. And so, and not to, everyone uses this example, but when you're on the airplane, they tell you, you put the mask on yourself first, and then you help the joker next to you. Even if it's your own kid, you put it on you first. And
That's
so what
true.
I'm hearing is that we really need to take that to heart.
Yes. And what I know for me, like I was on my way out, when I went through this process, I started realizing I want to do something for fun. And I found something I love, which was Contra dancing. And my husband doesn't like to dance, but I finally decided to say yes to me and let myself go, have fun. And one night I was on my way out and I thought, no, I should be doing this. I should be doing that. I should be staying home. And then it dawned on me like, wait a minute, this is something that releases my stress and it energizes me and it makes me feel great. So then I end up showing up better in my relationship with him and in my life. Right. And it just was a revelation. Like, yes, put the mask on yourself so that you can show up more you and more fully engaged for the people around you. It's actually good for you and for them.
Yeah,
to say yes to you.
So you earlier said you had 5 sort of actionable items that we could share with the Kuel Life community as to how you would start this process.
Yes. And I'm going to look at my phone because, at 66, sometimes I do forget.
Oh, sweetheart, I got it. We're all in this menopause mess together, right?
Yes.
I often tell people that this is the most tumultuous time and has the most turmoil since puberty, but we don't get a party.
No.
Sweet 16 party. There's no quinceañera. There's no party.
No. Yeah. It's real. The struggle is real.
The struggle is real. All right. So did you remind yourself?
Yes. So say yes to you is actually one of them.
Okay.
And it's time to choose is what I wrote here. Like, what we just said, sometimes it's hard to say yes to you. So another one though, is get present with who you are and where you are right now. We just move from one season to the next, without stopping to say, where am I right now? What's going on in my life right now? Get grounded with right now instead of just moving on to something without intention, and that's what I used to do is just grab the next thing and go, but stop for a minute and ask yourself, what's going on in my life right now, especially if you're going through menopause and everything around you, and clear away kind of the clutter and confusion and settle in to maybe a process of discovering who you are before you jump into something. That was huge for me. I wanted to be intentional because I wanted to create a business I could do from home in my retirement years because I knew I wasn't going to sit around doing nothing. And I wanted it to be something I wanted it to be the thing. And I have a tendency to just grab the next thing that shows up and do it. And then I'm in it and I'm like, oh, this wasn't it. What am I doing? So take the time to get grounded with where are you right now? Who are you right now? And,
what I'm hearing you say, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that if you get an idea, that's great, but maybe do a little due diligence on the ramifications or the consequences of those ideas in reality. Meaning, like, it sounds like you were very intentional about the type of business you decided to start because you wanted a particular lifestyle, you wanted a particular sort of day-to-day being. And that I did the same thing with Kuel Life. I mean, I built something that I can do from wherever in the world because I plan on traveling. Yeah. And so all I need is my laptop, a phone, and internet. I mean, literally, I don't even need a pencil. So I did that with intention. I didn't just grab onto this idea. I thought it through very intentionally about where do I want to be moving forward? What do I want to build? So, okay, I'm hearing that. So
exactly. take the time to do that, because it's worth it. And I think at this age too, you start to realize how fast time is going, and you don't really have time to waste trying out a bunch of stuff that's not really what you want to do. And so
Exactly.
during that season of life, I started down a couple of paths. I was like, well, this sounds kind of cool. Let me look at this, and started investigating. It was like, no, that's not it. And I had to really ground myself into, you know what, this might take some time, and that's okay, because I want to find the thing, and I want it to be intentional, and I want it to be what will fit my lifestyle, like you said. And it's worth it. It's worth it to do that. Don't feel like you have to rush into something.
Okay. And
Yeah.
what's another one? Because those are two great ones, but.
Yeah. Let's see. Determine what you need and ask for it.
Ooh, the ask
Yeah.
for it. Ooh.
Yeah.
I actually cringed when you said that. I'm not a good asker.
Yeah. I know. I wasn't either. Because we're so used to giving, right? So once you've kind of settled in and you get clear on what you want to create, then what do you need? What do you need to bring into your life? Do you need to learn something? Do you need to take a course? Do you need to get a certification? Do you need to read a book? Do you need help? And once you figure that out, then ask for it. Find a coach or a friend, or, get your support from your spouse or your partner, or what is it you really need to make this thing happen? Don't just give up because it looks like, oh gosh, I got all this stuff to do. Well, I can't do it. That's what a lot of people tend to do. They feel overwhelmed and they feel like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
If it's a passion in your heart, you can do it, but you might need some help, and it's okay.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I'm having the websites redone now by a professional, but the website I made, and I had never developed a website before my entire life. And so, no, but my what I tell people is, listen, you can do anything with YouTube, Google, and buckets of tears.
Yes.
Seriously. I mean, just one step at a time. Just.
That's right. And duct tape, they say.
Yeah. Well, mine was buckets of tears, but yeah.
Yes. I did my first website myself too. And I had no idea what I was doing. Absolutely none. And I just decided I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure it out. And now, now I have one somebody else made for me. But my first one, I ran it for 3 years. I just did it. But, there does come a time where, if you need help, there are people that can help you. And sometimes it might just even be a friend to bounce your ideas off of. But don't try to do it alone.
Right.
Get some help. Learn what you need to learn. Yep. And then another one is, and this goes along with it, is just have a support team. Assemble a support team around you. Don't try to do it alone. It can be overwhelming. I got into a couple of groups, just online, and they were a huge help. There are some affordable options out there to find that support and accountability when you're trying to build something.
Yeah.
You're trying to go after your goals. If you don't have that, it's so much harder. I'll just give up if I don't have it. If I don't have somebody I'm going to go and talk to and say, and they're going to ask me, how did you do on that goal?
Right.
Where are you at with that? Then a lot of times I won't do it. So
for me, it's making a list, because I need to check that box off. My OCD tendencies just won't let me rest until I check it off. So if I put it on a list, I can hold myself accountable. But I know that not everyone is that way. A lot of people, that's why people sometimes like to exercise with a buddy, because then they feel like they have to go because they'll let that person down. So yeah, if you're the type of person who does better, if you feel like you need to show your work to someone, and your updates and where you are, then great. Put that infrastructure in place. It sounds like what you're saying. There's nothing wrong with that, right?
No, and there are a lot of people that can do it on their own, but there's a lot that just lose steam, or they lose motivation, or they lose confidence. So having the accountability check-in, kind of somebody's checking up on you, that's going to be your cheerleader, not hit you over the head and tell you you're a failure. Somebody that's like, hey, what got in your way? How can you work around it? Like, what goal do you want to set now?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And then the support, so huge to have somebody, several people in your corner that are going to be positive and say, yes, you can do it.
Yeah.
And try to avoid the people that are like, what are you doing? You're crazy. That'll never work. Stay away from those.
Oh, I've written a couple of people that I'm just like, I can't have that negativity. This is hard enough.
Yes.
This is hard enough. Building a business from the ground up is one of the most challenging, short of being a parent, being a mother. This is the
Absolutely.
most challenging thing I've ever set my sights on.
Yes, it is not for the faint of heart.
Nope. Nope. Okay, I think you have one more in there though.
I do, and it's just say go. So after you've done all these other things, now you've got a clear plan, you've got your support, you know where you're going. So now it's time to actually put it into action. Clear and actionable steps. Like I use a planner, like you use a checkoff list. Like start writing things down and doing it. And every little step will lead you to the next step.
Right.
Put it into action. Without action, nothing happens.
Yeah. And my belief is that no step is too small to put on that list.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
I get such a sense of satisfaction crossing it off, which just gives me more energy to tackle the next one. That for me, even tiny things I put on the list because there's movement in
Yes.
my head, in my heart, in my spirit, and that just makes me want to move further. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And every little step actually, even if you talk about neuroscience, things happen in your brain that when you accomplish one little thing, it's just like a little kid when you say, good job, they want to do it again for you.
Yes.
Or like I'll tell my husband, hey, that was great. He'll want to do something else for me. I mean, we're kind of hot wired that way as people anyway. So
Yeah.
celebrate your little wins. When you check off something little, like high five yourself and celebrate it. Because then in your brain, it's like, oh, I want to do that again.
Yes.
I want to do
Yes.
more of that. So every little step is important.
So I know that you have a free ebook for the
Mm-hmm.
Cool Life community, and they can download it. And I think you have these steps in there with more details of how to actually implement them. And if I remember them, it was, say yes to yourself.
Yep.
Oh boy, my menopause. Be intentional. Give it thought about what you want it to actually look like.
Yes.
What was the third one, Janelle?
Determine what you need and ask for it.
That's right. Ask. Imagine that. I forgot the ask part.
Assemble your support team and then just say go. Take
Yes,
action.
just say go. So you start with yes and you end with go.
Yes.
And please download Janelle's ebook. I will have the URL in the link. I will have it in the description. And it's free. You will be, of course, putting yourself on her email list and my email list. But as always, you can drop out if you don't find it valuable. But
Right.
at least give it a shot and get the ebook, because I know that the ebook is valuable. I've seen it. It's pretty darn good. And Janelle, thank you so much for joining this cool conversation with me and providing so much value to the women in the Cool Life community. I greatly
thank you so much
appreciate
for
your time.
having me. Thank you so much for having me. It was definitely a cool conversation, and I enjoyed being on here with you.
Okay, well, until the next time, my friend.
Okay, sounds good.